Hello, hello. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon to those East Coasters. My name is Karleen Vaughn, and I'm an education consultant here at Optoma. And with us today, we also have Emeka. Emeka, do you want to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Hi, good morning, everyone. Emeka Otamiri here, and I'm a product manager here at Optoma.
Awesome, thank you. So Emeka and I have tons of experience in education and the display space, and we're excited to kind of walk you through some of the ways that Optima can help you modernize your outdated tech in the classroom. All right. Let's hit the road. If you have any questions as we're going through this, please feel free to pop questions in the chat and we'll make sure that we answer those before our session's over today. And you will also be getting a copy of this slide deck as a takeaway from today's session. All right, so first off, let's talk about Optima. Many of you are probably very familiar with us. We've been in the projector space for a very long time. And we have also been in the display space since about 2020. And we have all sorts of options that cover really kind of every environment. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. But we are also in 150 plus countries. We have a very large footprint and we're have lots of awards. In fact, just got some really great awards at Infocom that you've probably seen us post about on LinkedIn, and you'll talk about some of those products here today. Now, we like to call ourselves the total visual solution, and the reason for that is every school is different and every space in a school quite often is different. So there's no one solution necessarily that it's going to fit all environments or all use cases you have within a building or a district. And so with that, we have options for everywhere, starting from your small portable projectors all the way up to large venue space projectors, and then everywhere in between. So we have projectors and interactive displays for your classrooms. We have non-interactive displays for digital signage and conference rooms. And then we even have a really great LED option that Emeka will be sharing later as well. So just know all the spaces you see in a school can really be outfitted with Optima. And then we have a great management platform that we'll take a look at that really kind of ties it all together, whether you're using our solutions or a mixture of ours and competitor. You have the ability to manage it all in the same space and really kind of take the load off your IT team. All right. So first off, we're going to talk about OSS. And this is our software suite. And with OSS, you get a couple really great tools that give you that sort of Optima difference. And to start off, we have our whiteboard solution. So with our whiteboard solution, it is cloud-based. So your teachers, your customers, they can join from anywhere online and be able to create that content and get everything ready. And when they log into their panel, like you see behind me, they have everything they need right at their fingertips. We also have our display share software, and that is our wireless casting application that provides seamless access from any device to and from the panel. It also has some really great smart controls with it that allow you to control using just your cell phone, like a simple trackpad. Teachers love that, including the little laser pointer function that we have built into there. We also have some new AI features and our file manager. When you create your Optima account, you can sign into any panel and have instant access to your cloud drives that you've connected to that account. Now, we'll talk more specifics about the panel, but I did want to highlight a couple of features within the whiteboard application that just make it really, really powerful. So first off, you have a really nice toolbar here that you can call using a single finger press to any portion of the whiteboard that you're using. Tons of great features and media integrations here. You have your images, your videos. You can import browsers directly into the whiteboard, which is really great. You also have the ability to integrate directly with Google Classroom. So I can pair lessons to specific classes and then post those lessons to the class either as an assignment or so that students can join live with me and I can ask students to take control or to complete an answer or a problem on a specific page within that lesson while we're all watching from the screen or from our individual devices. So some really great collaboration options built into that. In addition, we have some really nice AI features built into it now, including an AI notes feature. You can give it a prompt and it will generate those questions or scenarios for you. Now, display share, a little bit more about this. Display share is compatible with iPhone, iPad, Android, Windows, Mac OS, and Chrome OS. And with that, we have the ability to allow you to wirelessly send content to the display as well as receive content from the display. Now, if you don't want to install applications on student devices or on teacher devices, that's okay. You can still use Chromecast, Miracast, or AirPlay, but you will get added functionality with the specific application for your device. For instance, teachers, when they use their Windows device, they have the ability to enter moderation mode. And so you can see kind of a preview of what that looks like over here on the side. We can have up to 4 students share at a time, and I get to pick and choose which student is sharing. So it gives me control. And until I open the application, they're actually not allowed to share to the screen at all. So we've got some security features built into that as well as the refreshing code. And we can control whether they have the ability to take over the full screen, share audio. I used to teach middle school, and we all know, right? We've all been there. So any way that we can kind of keep that locked down is a great thing to have in the classroom. Now, again, please know we are keeping an eye on the chat. So if you have any questions, feel free to pop them in there. But we are going to move on to our next slide. Now, let's talk about the panel specifically. We're talking about our interactives first. And the first one up is our 3 series, okay? With our 3 series, this is EDLA certified, all right? And what that means is it's Enterprise Device Licensing Agreement that we have with a panel. And essentially what it means is that we have met the security and compatibility requirements from Google to be able to have access to the entire Google environment. So not only is it running on Android 14, but you have access to the actual Google Play Store. We have access to run native applications on the panel, where prior to EDLA options, there was always a way to do it, but you kind of had to have a workaround or do it in browser. Now you can use the actual Google applications like Google Sheets, Google Slides, Google Docs, Google Drive, YouTube, Google Play Store, directly on the panel without anything else attached to it. It's just built-in capabilities. In addition, because you have access to the Play Store, you also get access to all of the Microsoft applications. So it doesn't really matter what environment your school or your customers are working in. We have the ability really to give them exactly what they need and have it work with that true app functionality that we've all been looking for. Okay, so in addition to that EDLA Google application environment, we have all of our displays have access to our OSS software suite, and it just comes on the display by default. And you also have our OMS, and that's the management suite. And we'll look at it a little bit more in detail before we hop off the call today. But I do just want to mention that OMS is the management piece, how you're going to deploy these and manage these devices. Okay. Now, let's hop over to our, I should mention this is 65, 75, 86, but let's hop over to our next display here. This is our 5 series. Now, our 3 series that we kind of consider our cost-effective or budget-friendly option. With our 5 series, it is almost exactly the same with a few key hardware differences. Now, it is running on Android 13 and will upgrade to 15. It also has an upgraded chipset. It has a built-in microphone. The speakers are upgraded to include 2 8-watt subwoofers, so you're going to get a really robust sound quality from this. You also have this optional NFC card reader down here at the bottom, and I can show you what that looks like in just a second. And then we even have this fun little quick launch pen holder over here on the right side of the display. And what that does is allows you to, from the home screen, if I pull that pen out, it's going to take me right into a whiteboard lesson. And from a website or a document, for example, when I pull that out, it's going to pull up my annotation tools. And so I have the ability to customize that a little bit, but we know that for teachers, the quickest way to get from point A to point B is extremely helpful. So the pen holder is included. The NFC is the only thing that is optional with this. So you get, again, the same interface, the same experience for your users. The only real difference is going to be the chipset, NFC, subwoofers, quick launch 10, and that built-in microphone, okay? So slightly upgraded hardware with this. Now, do we have any questions on our displays? Or excuse me, our interactive displays? I don't see any yet. Perfect. All right, now let's talk about accessories. I did mention the NFC card reader here, and I'll just stop sharing my screen for a second so that we can kind of take a little bit closer look about what that does. Okay, so if we look here, you can see, there we go. I'm going to stand in front of my panel here. I have a 5 series, and with this panel, you have the ability to log in. So I can log in directly to my whiteboard account, or excuse me, my Optoma account, and I can do that by tapping here where it says sign in. I can manually enter credentials, I can choose one of my integrations, or I can scan this QR code here. But if I have the NFC card, all I have to do is tap that right on our NFC card reader. And in just a second, heard the beep, and we'll see that it's now refreshing, it's showing my name, and now I'm in my personalized experience. Okay, so that's a benefit of that NFC card reader. It's just super simple. Teachers don't have to worry about getting out their phone or, having their, credentials visible on the screen. All they have to do is tap and they're in. And in many cases, schools already have teachers using an NFC card of some type. And so quite often that is compatible with the displays as well. So just know that's an option to have. All right, sharing my screen again here, and we'll talk a little bit more about some of these additional accessories. We do have an optional 4K webcam. Of course, you can see mine is sitting right on top above me. We also have Windows OPS. It's just going to slot in to the back right side of the display over here. It's going to give you some really nice, that built-in Windows environment, okay? In addition, we have picture-in-picture and split screen, so it's really great to have that full Windows environment capability built into the display, and know that teachers don't necessarily have to tie up their primary device for instruction. We also have a couple examples of our carts here. There's several additional options as well. Just know plenty of mobile carts, height adjustable, fixed, wall mounts, all of those options along with this. One thing I always like to point out, if you are in that sort of K2 environment, we always recommend a height adjustable option. It's really hard to get to find a fixed height that works well for everybody without having the teachers bent over all day or having to have the students stand on something, because we want to avoid them tripping and falling for sure. All right. Now, all right, let's talk about one more accessory here, and this is the Hive. And the Hive is essentially kind of like a 6x6 box that can plug into almost anything really, any display. And what it does is it allows you to bring those displays, those TVs, those monitors, whatever it is, into the Optoma environment, not only for management purposes, but it allows you to give it essentially the same OSS and experience that you would have on our other displays. This is not EDLA certified. It is running on Android 10, but it does allow you to bring those devices into the same environment. These can also go on projectors as well. So if you want the ability to kind of have that same interface on a projector, you can do that. And again, manage it all together with the rest of your displays. All right. Now for projectors, we mentioned it just a little bit at the beginning. We have tons and tons of projectors. So it's kind of hard to mention just a handful, but you can see here we've got some good classroom options and a couple options that we do recommend for auditoriums and lecture halls. But no, we really run the gamut, all the way from small, portable, battery powered, that you might want to take camping up to those large venue spaces where you can map on a building if you wanted. And so just know we have all the options available here, and you can reach out to your Optoma rep in order to get a little bit more information about those. Now I'm going to let Emeka take over for a minute and talk to you about our DV LED.
All right, thanks, Karleen.
Thank you.
So about DV LEDs, I'll talk about the FHDC 135 and a few features about it and why I really, really like it. And I think it's a really, really good display. The visuals, right? So this comes with brightness of about 700 nits. It's really bright. And looking at the contrast, it's about 12,000 by one contrast, and the refresh rate on this is 3840. That's a lot. That's really high. Now, when it comes to some other features, we are able to do picture-in-picture. We're also able to do splicing, where you can add some other displays, and we can also do picture by picture. So you could have a single, dual, you can have three, or you can have a quad for picture by picture. And you're also able to do a 4K upscaling if you'd like to do that as well. Now, this comes with Android as well. It does run on 8 gigs of RAM and 64 gigs of storage. It's pre-calibrated, so you don't have to do a lot. You can just put the tiles in, and the tiles are better than let's say like an SMD. This is cheap on board, so they're basic. They're very, very not just robust, but they wouldn't get damaged easily during transportation, and it's very easy to maintain as well. Some other thing I'd like to quickly highlight about the display, you get 200 tiles, basically about 200 tiles, and the speaker, it's 120 watt speaker, right? And again, talking about the COB technology, it protects against impact. It's shock resistant as well. And I mentioned SMDs versus COB. So SMDs are known to get damaged during transportation, but the COB do not get damaged during transportation. So you can basically, if they fall, you pick it up and then you just put it back where they're supposed to be. Karleen mentioned OMS and also basically she mentioned OMS, sorry about that. You can use OMS to manage this device as well. It runs on Android 13, so you can use OMS to manage the device. So I'll go right on ahead and pass it back to you, Karleen. Thank you.
All right, perfect. Thanks, Emeka. Sorry, I was like, oh, I should launch my browser now. All right, so let's talk about our N series displays. And this very quickly, we'll cover this. N series are our professional displays, and they are really perfect for a lot of spaces. One, we do see them in classrooms. They have a slightly different size of options. We have 65, 75, 86 with the addition of a 98-inch. And because you are not touching these, they're non-interactive, it's okay that it's that big because my arms are not that long, right? But with the N series, what it does is allows you to have essentially this full functioning Android display. You can do everything that you would want to do on our, on a diff or an interactive display. You're just going to do it with wireless mouse and keyboard. However, what we see most often with these is conference rooms, higher ed or upper grade classrooms where maybe they're just going to connect a computer and do PowerPoints and things like that, as well as digital signage. And that is probably the biggest use case for these. So because they're non-interactive, the price point is much lower on these, and they are really great for all of those sort of non-traditional spaces where you need a display. And then, of course, we know digital signage for just general information purposes, whether it's in an atrium, hallways, your cafeteria, your media center, maybe. Or many schools have now adopted this to have kind of throughout the building and have them work in tandem with your classroom displays to offer some emergency alert signage as well. So we do have some integrations with some of the safety providers like Raptor in order to help provide that emergency signage. And we also have some of those broadcasting capabilities built directly into our management platform, which again, we'll look at in just a few minutes. But know that in addition to the variety of sizes here, you also have the ability to put them in a grid format like you see here. It could be 2x2 or a 3x3 grid. Of course, you'll see the little tile options here, but I always say not everybody has DV LED money. Those tend to be pricier options, but knowing that you can tile some of these non-interactives and essentially get the same functionality with that is a really good benefit. It also has the splicing software built directly into it, so you don't need to have a separate device in order to do that. The capability is built directly into the displays. And if you've seen any of our information from Infocom, these can actually be mounted portrait or landscape, as well as kind of at a 45-degree angle. So you can have several of them stacked together at that angle, and it looks pretty neat too. So just know that we have these, again, still great for some of those low touch environments. Again, wireless mouse and keyboard, they get all the functionality they need, but also really great to have in all of those, hallways and atriums for that signage purpose. Now, let's talk about OMS, and we are going to hop into the actual platform to look at that a little bit deeper, but I just want to kind of mention a few things really quick. With OMS, it allows us to manage all of our Optoma devices as well as some of those competitor devices. So if you have devices that are PJ-Link compatible, then we would have the ability to manage those within our OMS environment. So that allows you to do things like manage power. We have over-the-air firmware updates. So devices by default are set to auto update, but we know that IT teams typically like to have a little more control over that. So you have the ability during that initial setup to turn off the auto updates, and then you're going to be notified, hey, there's a new firmware update, and you can choose when that goes out, and you can schedule it to hit your displays at a specific date and time. So you can do that when you have the bandwidth or your team is ready to do any potential troubleshooting. While we're talking about troubleshooting, I will tell you that the failure rate on these displays is less than 1%. So that is not a frequent issue. But we do have a feature built into our platform that will alert you when a display is having an issue. And typically that has been something like someone accidentally bumped the network cable or accidentally unplugged a display to move it, forgot to plug it back in, something like that. So normally pretty easy to troubleshoot those issues, but know that you are going to get an alert in the system, which allows your IT team to be proactive in managing that and hopefully take care of it before a teacher is in the room so they're not experiencing any downtime. All right, in addition to this, we have several other capabilities built in, including some digital signage. So I'm logging in on my other screen and about to bring it over. Here we go. And you can see what our OMS dashboard looks like. All right, so I only have access to a couple different displays, and you can see my recent alarms, failed commands, how many users, how many devices, things like that. I can also go into the specific devices. I'm going to make this just a little bit bigger for you. And I will take a peek at my 5 series. And here we're looking at information related just to my panel. So I can see that it's connected, power's on, it's had 6 alarms go to it. I can tell what the alarms were. I know that I turn mine off regularly. And I can see the hardware information, that MAC address if I need to, any other additional, device that. I can also go in and manage some control features like powering on and off, restarting. I know it's one of those things, but restarting an electronic device takes care of many technology issue. In addition to that, we can go in and manage some of the system information, like if you wanted to uninstall or allow teachers or users to uninstall apps or install things from unknown sources. We don't recommend that, but that is something you could toggle on if you wanted to. And then lastly, the app portion here. So if there was an app that they got from the Play Store that maybe was not approved or something like that, you would have the ability to go in and manually remove those applications. And while we're talking about applications, let me just mention, because our interactive displays are EDLA certified, much of your management will take place within the OMS management suite, but some of your management will also take place within your Google workspace. So the same place that you're managing Chromebooks, you would also manage your EDLA certified devices, and that allows you to customize access to the Play Store, for example. I know those apps are something that we've wanted for years, and now that we have them, they actually have full access to the Play Store, and we probably want to limit that a little bit. So you can pare down based on types of applications. So if you want to not allow social media applications or shopping, maybe you just want educational things like that, then you could choose categories. You can also turn off access completely and share out only the applications that you want them to have. So know that you can customize that and have full control over it. All right, so I have my panels, I can create groups, I can have overlapping groups, and I can manage many things related to that. So first off, you'll see on, oops, let me go back a month. Oh, that's right. Okay, so I have a power schedule for today. So, or excuse me, for looks like this was on 5/13 that I set this up. But I have the ability to go in and schedule that power on off. For me in my environment, I don't always turn my display on, but if I do, I want to make sure it gets turned off. So know that I have the capability of scheduling all of that. I also have some additional options like scheduling signage. So if you have the same signage, say for dismissal time, and you want that to be scheduled at 3 p.m. on the dot every day, you can do that too. And with the broadcasting, I'm just going to come in here for a second. We can preload assets. We can preload video content. You can send individual messages, and I'm just going to send to a specific device here and choose me, and for time's sake here, I'm just going to send it across the middle, scrolling text, extra large, and I can choose how disruptive I want to be is what I say. So if I want to just kind of be very low key, I can have it small at the bottom and just go ahead and send that out. Okay, so we'll see that on my screen. There we go, right behind me. And then we have other options for media. What I love about this is I can choose images that have already been loaded to my platform or to my account. I can pre-select those images. YouTube videos I can send as well. You also have a direct integration with Canva, and we know that teachers absolutely love Canva, and they can create a presentation that they update on their own. All they have to do is share that live link with you, and then their updates will take effect the next time that that presentation plays. Okay, and last but not least, I'm going to show you from the dashboard one feature that I have. I've created some hotkeys here. And so I have a hotkey for fire and something that's a little more exciting. I have a dance party. So what happens when I trigger this? It is going to process for just a second. Command has been sent to the device. We should see a quick little loading icon. There we go. And I have a static image as well as audio coming across with us. And you probably can't hear it, but it's the party rock anthem played across with this dance party graphic. So yes, you can do fun things in addition to your safety setup. And I can set this so they cannot dismiss from the display. I have to force end it on my end, which is great when it's a critical message. I want to make sure that somebody doesn't bump it or just see something pop up while they're working and then accidentally dismiss it. We want to make sure that that information is clear and available for that visual alert as long as that needs to be communicated. Hopefully that is not, hold on, here we go. I'm stopping it. There we go. All right, hopefully that's not the message that goes across your screen. I forgot I put that on there. But again, you can make it be whatever you want. So just know that honestly with this, you really have so many options, so much control, so many capabilities within the OMS platform. And again, not only can you manage all of our devices, you can bring in all of your other devices as well. All right, I'm gonna ask Emeka to come back on for a second. Emeka is our PM for displays, so he knows all the things, and I am the education consultant. And so if you have any questions, want any additional information, please don't hesitate to reach out. We will be communicating with you after this event to make sure that you get this slide deck as a resource and a copy of the recording, and we look forward to hearing from you. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.